the Valley song is part of a bigger project that I worked on during the pandemic. I was reading the prequel to the Hunger Games that came out that I think that year, or the year before, and it is called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and it's full of songs. One of the lead characters is a performer and a songwriter, and they're all just lyrics. And so as I'm reading this book, I'm thinking, wow, I can imagine what this song would sound like if there was actually music to it. And so I started putting out these videos where I dressed up as this character and recorded my arrangements for these songs and sort of recreated these little scenes in the book. And it's the Hunger Games, so there's tons of people that are reading this book and looking for other people's interpretations of these songs. And so they started to get really popular really fast, and pretty soon people wanted me to do every song in the book. And I think the Valley song was one of the first ones. I ended up doing 10 of them, I think 10 or 11, and they got super popular, hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube. I like tripled my subscribers on YouTube or more. I went
even
from, like,
even
5...
Spotify, there's hundreds of thousands of plays on some of these songs.
Yeah, and there were 10 more songs, and it was a whole thing because after about a year I had these songs out, and then Lionsgate acquired the rights to the book and to make it into a film. And then as soon as that happened, they started coming after me and wanted me to take down my videos and my songs, because even though I was writing the music, they acquired the rights to the book and therefore the lyrics, and so it was sort of this gray area of, did I have any rights here? And it was sort of questionable.
So did you have to fully take them down, or they just get demonetized?
So I had to take, they were basically threatening to
legal
report. Yeah, they were threatening, like I got legal letters, and they were threatening to take down, basically get my YouTube channel removed if I didn't take everything down. And I was really sad because I had worked so hard on these videos. It was like a year's worth of work and 10 songs that I had recorded and produced and made these videos. It was a huge project. And it had been really successful. And like in the height of that, I was getting fan mail. I was getting like people who were drawing me as this character and fan art. And it was really crazy and cool. It's sort of like stepping into this huge Hunger Games fandom. And so it was devastating at the time to have to take everything down. And so I made a video telling people what was going on. And I was really upset about it. And I was in tears at one point because it was just so stressful and I felt so helpless. And that video started making the rounds. People were really upset. People started calling Lionsgate and like leaving messages and sending messages to the writer of the book and all of these places. And as soon as that started happening, they changed their tone and were like, okay, well, we're willing to compromise with you. So I got to keep the videos up on YouTube. And I just had to take everything down off of streaming platforms. So the only ones that are left are ones that were public domain. Like the Valley song is a public domain song from like a long time ago. So they don't really have rights to it anyway, or songs that were already released covers of things. So that's why I put the instrumentals up, because people still wanted to sing along to them and have them on their playlist. So it felt like a way to sort of keep the songs up in some way, even if it wasn't exactly how I wanted to keep them up. But they're not really instrumentals. You know what I mean? They're almost like karaoke tracks for these songs for people. And that's why they're up there right now. But the film is about to come out, I think, later this year. They did make the movie and all this stuff. There was a petition for me to be this character. It was a whole thing. It was like 2 years
and
of
is it
drama.
just one movie or is it a trilogy like the Hunger Games? Or maybe there's more than 3, but there was 3 books for the Hunger Games.
Yeah, I think this is supposed to be a one-off thing. They said they were only going to make one movie, but it's a huge book.
Yeah, until it makes $1 billion, and then there's 2 more in the pipeline.
Yeah, so I'm really curious to see how the movie turns out, what they do with the songs, if they're similar to the arrangements I did, or if they're vastly different. I'm a little sad about it. I'm sad that the movie's coming out because it was such a whole dramatic thing. But that's what that whole thing is, and that's what Lucy Gray is the name of that character. So yeah.
I was curious because there's you've done volumes 1 through 4 with this Lucy Gray project. Is that correct?
Yeah, okay. So you can still see all the songs on my YouTube channel, but they've been taken down off of most of them have been taken down off of Spotify, and there's just these sort of weird instrumentals left.
Yeah, so there's volumes 3 and 4, I believe, are still available on Spotify.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I was gonna ask who this character was, Lucy Gray Baird. So
Yeah.
I started. I'm like, who is this, and why is someone
Yeah.
dedicating like 4 albums to this? And then when I searched, it came up as Hunger Games. And
Yeah.
I have a confession. Are you ready for this confession?
Yes.
So I'm a voracious reader. Like I'm reading all the time. And back in the day, so when the Hunger Games came out, there was 3 series at that time that were huge. There was the Hunger
Mhm.
Games, there was Twilight, and there was 50 Shades of Grey for a certain market. And anything that's that big, like these books sold like 20 million copies, 100 million, 300, like just insane, biggest series of all time with Harry Potter. So anything that's that big and that universally big, I read because I want to know what the fuss is about. So I read the Hunger Games trilogy, and it was the best of all those series. It was
It's
actually really
very
good.
good.
So that's my confession to our listeners, that I read all 3 Hunger Games and I really enjoyed them when I read them.
I think you'll like the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It's a little different style wise, but it's a prequel, so it's sort of it follows one of the first Hunger Games and basically Snow's origin story, and how he got to be the person that he is. It's pretty interesting. I liked it a lot.